And hello, everybody. It is Monday, which means it is time for the Coach's Perspective here on Riverside TV. I'm Jeff Gorm, and I'll tell you what, we are in week 6. We're starting league play, and it is going to be fantastic. We have 4 games on the docket this week, possibly 4 games, I should say. And before we get going into any of those, let me introduce my co-host, my dear friend, my guy in the booth. He is the great Ghazal Azan. How you doing today, Ghazal?
Jeffrey, it's always great to be on the second best show on Riverside TV.
Whoa!
Number 1,
the second best show.
Number 1 is Football Night in Riverside. Well, you're part of that too, because we do the game of the week. Number 2 is the Coach's Perspective. And number 3 is the Pep Rally. So we all know what's going on.
Well, Ghazal, we had ourselves a great week last week. Every game we've had so far this season has been fairly close. But let's talk about those games we had. We had 3rd and Chicago. Let's talk about the North matchup we had.
Well, King looked pretty good. So North's still kind of dealing with some injuries, but King, they're focused, they're ready to go, they're healthy, and they got Blake Bowen back, which really helped them a lot. And I think it's going to be a really interesting year in the Big West lower division. You know, I mean, Temecula Valley is always tough. We talked about it the other day. Murrieta Mesa is 0-5, but remember, the teams they've played are a combined 21-5. So I think the Rams will do okay. And then Andy Diaz has Corona off to a 4-1 start. They're off and running. So perhaps the Panthers, a bit of a resurgence over there. All things considered, it's going to be really interesting. But I'm going to make I don't like making predictions because you're always wrong. That last week, it's October 12th, I think it's a Thursday night, King Murrieta Mesa will come down to either a playoff spot being decided or for the league title. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I agree there 100%, but let's now go over to 3rd and Chicago, as North is going to battle Orange Vista on our wild card game Friday night, part of our doubleheader Friday night. What do you think about that matchup? That could be for the entire league championship.
It is homecoming for North, and Orange Vista kind of put it on them last year. Now, Orange Vista, again, they're 2-3, but their losses, I think Murrieta Valley, Vista Murrieta, I think Mission Hills down in San Diego, who's like a regional power down there. So, you know, the record doesn't look so good, but you know they're cagey over there. It's out in Paris. It's out by where you live. People are a little cagey out there. So maybe they're playing, you know, I think they're the Coyotes. Maybe the Coyotes are playing possum and laying in wait for the Huskies. But I think Opie Vaipulu and his team, they're going to pull it together. They're going to look at the film from last week. A couple of mistakes. You know, they left 10 points literally on the board. It was a 38-14 final, but a touchdown and a field goal directly related to Huskies' mistakes. They clean those up. It'll be different.
Well, I'll tell you what, we also have another game Thursday night, which is the opener of the River Valley League. It is a retribution game for North Vista. Remember, they are playing Hillcrest. Hillcrest took a victory from North Vista last year. What are your thoughts on that matchup?
Let me tell you something. Let me talk about the coach of North Vista, Ken Batdorf. So I don't know if you remember this. When I started working with you, I had a bit of a relationship with the former heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali. Okay? And believe it or not, okay, the champ, huge fan of Riverside High School football. And I started talking one day about Ken Batdorf, and he says to me, "That old man still over there?" No, I kid, of course. But no, 30th year for Coach Batdorf. They're off to a great start, and it's going to be a tough one. Travis Carter is 500 against Coach Batdorf. He's 2-2. I think he's the only coach in the area that's even close to a winning record. So you know Coach Batdorf's got that in his back pocket, and he's not going to sleep all week. He's going to eat oatmeal all day, get ready for Hillcrest. We did that game last year. It was week 11, the final week, the finale. A thrilling win for Hillcrest. It didn't sit too well with Coach Batdorf. His pasta didn't go down very well that weekend. I think it's going to be a battle on Thursday.
Well, think of it this way. You said, Coach Batdorf, he's all the coaches he's coached against have already gone and passed away. Their grandkids are coaching now.
Don't be mean. He's a spry young man. He could still probably get out on the track and do like a 7-minute mile. I wouldn't be shocked.
Well, a 7-minute if he was in a cart, maybe, like a golf cart.
The athleticism isn't there, but he's got grit. He's got grit.
Grit.
He will not allow himself to be beat. Yeah.
Grit and gumption, to say the least. Hey, we also might be, there is a word that RCC San Jacinto game will be on Riverside TV Saturday. We're going to hear more about this maybe tonight we'll have a confirmation. But what about the Tigers going into this weekend against a bitter rival?
Tigers got a scare down in San Diego, 45-44 against Palomar. So you never know. It's so week to week. There's so many new guys. There's still, RC still's RCC, and Tom Kraft obviously is great. But hey, Palomar, they tightened it up, and I think that's a little bit that you talk about rivalry games. Coach Kraft used to coach Palomar, so whenever he goes down there, they're always going to be shooting for him. They're always going to be at their best. So maybe that's one of those little things. But on the road, they've given up 40 and 44 points. So maybe the Eagles can take a look at that film and see what are the areas we can exploit against that team, and maybe have a shot against RCC. But the Tigers look really, really good. We've seen them a couple times. They look real good in the games that we saw. They've managed to eke out. Winning on the road is tough in any sport. They're 2-0 on the road, 2-0 at home, and this could be one of those defining. They're in league play, by the way, Jeff. Did you realize that?
They're in league play with San Jacinto, which is great, having the little crosstown rivalry just down the road. There's been some great battles over the years. I remember growing up watching those games.
Yeah, it's right by your house. So are you throwing a brunch for the RCC players? Because some of those linemen, Jeff, I know you can eat a little bit. Some of those linemen could eat you out of house at home if you let them.
Well, I can't let them come over to the stately Gorham Manor, because if I do that, they're not going to want to go to the game. They're going to want to hang out in Shangri-La, floating around my pool and eating great food.
If you start making pancakes, Isaiah Boger will never leave because your pancakes are so good.
Well, Ghazal, thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to another great week of football here on Riverside TV, and you'll be with me Friday night.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's La Sierra against Arlington, Sean Moore, Kevin Argamosa. We saw Arlington earlier this year, and I'm interested in the new-look Eagles. They throw the ball all over the place. I'm interested to see what they're going to do against the Lions, who are playing well, by the way. They've won 3 of 4. They're 1 loss on the road at Buena Park, overtime.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to hear from both of those coaches, Sean Moore, Kevin Argamosa, Ken Batdorf, and Travis Carter will all be on the show here today. So we will see you Friday night. As always, thanks to Ghazal, and we'll be right back here on The Coach's Perspective on Riverside TV. And welcome back to The Coach's Perspective here on Riverside TV, as we are now joined by the head coach who's been at Norte Vista. Yes, Norte Vista for 30 darn years. He is the head coach, Ken Batdorf, my dear friend. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing okay.
Now, you got your opening league play this week against your heated rival, your nemesis, your enemy, Travis Carter and Hillcrest. Are you guys ready to go to war and fight these guys?
No. First off, Travis and I are probably pretty good friends. Talk every week. I always try to give him some elderly advice, and we talk all the time. I have a ton of respect for what he does at Hillcrest. I'm one of his biggest fans. It's a shame they won't be in our league anymore, so this might be the last time we play them for a while.
Well, you got to still play this big rivalry game. You got to get that on the preseason schedule.
No, we don't. What I want, it's great to have a team local that you can work against. And Travis and I've already talked about it a little bit. I think it'd be awesome. In the off season, you might start seeing us do 7-on-7s, lineman competitions against each other. Because right now, we are kind of rivals. So we don't do that. But in the future, we might. And it's nice to have somebody in town that you can do that with.
Well, Coach, you guys coming off a big win against the Division X state champion Muir High School. How are you feeling going into? Let's talk about your preseason. How did you feel about your preseason, your first 5 games?
Mixed emotions. I didn't like the way we played at all against Capistrano Valley. I know they're 6-0. I know they're probably going to be in Division 2 or 3, but I think we're better than what we played. And then when we played the last 3 games or 4 games, we just made some little mistakes giving up scores. More breakdown than scheme, which is okay. I mean, we could get those things fixed. Offensively, we're getting a little bit better. So hopefully we continue to roll that. For the first time in a long, long time, we're kind of a dual threat. We've thrown for 100 yards in every game, and we rushed for a little bit more than that. But, I mean, we always joke about we're going to throw the ball. I think we're around 600 yards passing and, I don't know, 9 touchdowns, which is unheard of for Norte Vista.
Well, talking about this passing game, you have a young quarterback who's really kind of coming into his own. Can you tell us a little bit about him?
Seth Bodlander last year pretty much played JV. Really nice kid. And he's probably grown 3-4 inches from last year. He's put on about 20 pounds. He's done a phenomenal job throwing the ball and leading the offense. He's only a junior and just a great work ethic. Really nice kid.
Well, you have a great 1-2 punch with he and Tajon Henderson. How much of a surprise or how pleasantly surprised are you having a guy like Tajon in that offense?
Tajon makes us look better at times when he does some stuff that you're like, wow. And when he moved over, I didn't know what the big deal was because I'd only seen him play once, and it was like, he looks like a pretty decent ball player. But then everybody's telling me this kid can play, and he can. I mean, when we went out to start our game with Muir, they were pretty much double covering him wherever he went. And then you gave us Dreddy Lane, and everybody forgets about Dreddy Lane. And as a sophomore, he's putting together a pretty good year. So it kind of gives us a real, 1-2 punch. We have a lot of weapons. You forget about those guys. We have Eli Martinez doing a great job catching the ball. So we have several kids that can help us. So that's the nice thing.
Now, defensively, you guys are pretty athletic, aren't you? You got some guys, really good, quick athletes in the secondary. What's so different about this defense this year?
Gosh, it's hard to say. I mean, we do a lot of stuff. I think we're a lot faster than we were last year. I think Travis can give us some headaches because he always does. But our DB skill set is probably one of the best. We got Eli Martinez, Julian Reyes, Henderson, and then the last DB rotates between a senior named Brandon Batiste and AB, which is Abraham Saldana. So we got 5 guys that can play DB. They're all pretty fast. They're all coachable, which is nice. And then in the box, we have Damon Iosefa. And when you guys watch him, you'll understand. I mean, here's a kid that's 6'2", 230, and he can run and he'll bring it. So that makes us a lot better when you have a guy in the middle that can do those kind of things.
Now, Coach, you've been at this for 30 years. Where would you put this team as far as in the top or lower? I mean, where do they fit in your 30 years of coaching? You've had some great teams.
We've had some great teams, but the thing is, the season's not over yet. And even when the season ends, I tell the kids this all the time. I don't know how great we were until it's 15, 20 years later. If all these kids go on to be great fathers, great members of our society, this could be the greatest team I ever had. You don't measure it just on wins and losses. Sure, we want to win a CF title. We want to do that every year. But let's measure the success of the team by the caliber kid we produce.
That's a great answer, Coach. And last thing, are you still having fun doing the everyday rigmarole of coaching high school football?
When I leave the parking lot, when I go to lunch, there's this giant cornstalk guy always talking to me. Usually I bring him food, but you know what? He did bring me a burrito once. But no, I do. I have good kids, and that makes it better. And we always do different things. When we went to Muir, we got there about 3 hours early, and we went to the Rose Bowl. And we had a tour of the Rose Bowl, and that was pretty special. And that's kind of stuff we want to do. We want to do things that normal programs won't do. We don't have a lot of money. But what we do is we try to develop the right kids. And we can do special things and tell them how to act, and they act that way. And, it was really neat. We got to see the High School Football Hall of Fame. And for me, that was really, really emotional. I saw some gentlemen that I coached against and knew, and unfortunately, a couple are gone. But it's still impressive to see their names on the wall and know that I was affiliated with them one way or another. But you know what? Again, that's what it's about. It's not just about wins and losses. It's about relationships that we develop and how good our kids can be.
Well, Coach, hopefully someday we can see your name on that wall over in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl. But until then, you are at Norte Vista. You're doing a great job. You're a dear friend of mine. And good luck come Thursday night against Hillcrest.
If you look closely at the Rose Bowl, it might be on the bathroom wall, and it'll say call for a bathroom.
Well, Ken Batdorf, thanks again, and we will see you Thursday night.
All right. Time to go to practice.
All right, we'll be right back with another coach here on the Coach's Perspective on Riverside TV. And welcome back to the Coach's Perspective here on Riverside TV, as we are now joined by the Trojans head coach, the Hillcrest man in charge, Travis Carter. How you doing today, Travis?
Hey, Jeff, thanks for having me. Doing well. Just out here at practice. We're, obviously got a tough opponent this week, so we're just trying to get out here and get better.
He's not tough. Get out of here. It's Norte Vista High School. You beat them last year, and what do you have in store for us this year?
You know what? It's going to be, they're a tough team. Offensively, defensively, they got some dudes pretty much all over the place. But I know our kids are going to come out playing hard, and we're going to give them our best fight like we always do.
Well, Coach, I don't know if you know this, but Ken Batdorf's been coaching for 30 years at Norte Vista. I'm sure you know this. But you are the only coach that has gone 500 against him.
I did not know that.
So if you beat him on Thursday night, you will hold one up over him, and you can always hold that over his head.
Yeah, that would be great.
Well, Coach Batdorf did join us a little bit ago, and he had some really nice things to say about you. You guys are pretty good friends, aren't you?
Yeah, no, we talk. He's a good guy. Kind of, he likes to call me and check on me, and just kind of see how we're doing. But Friday night or Thursday night this week, actually, I know both of us are going to get after it and want to beat each other. So.
Well, Coach, what is your first initial thought to your first 5 games of the year so far?
I mean, obviously we've had some tough losses in there. A couple that we had the 2 1-point losses, the 8-point loss. So we just got to learn how to finish, learn how to win games. We're playing well at times, and then kind of shoot ourselves in the foot in some key moments. But we're getting better every week. Kids have been, receptive to coaching. They're still practicing hard. They're not quitting on the year, and we're ready to kind of reset this thing come league time, and see what we can do.
Well, Coach, you've always had a very explosive offense, but can you tell us a little bit about some of your dudes that are on the offensive side of the football going into Thursday's game?
Yeah, well, I mean, so this week, Alfredo Vence has been our leading rusher. He's got 600 yards, I think, something like that. Running behind a strong offensive line. Our center, Chris Benitez, our right tackle, Jose Beltran, have been kind of the 2 guys playing the best there. And then last week, sophomore Matt Ramos, he had, 2 receiving touchdowns. He had a running touchdown, and he's kind of doing a little bit of everything for us this year. So, yeah, we're looking to get better and, just kind of finish some games.
Now, do a lot of guys go both ways? We've had you on, a few times this year, but are you guys getting used to having guys going both ways?
Yeah, we got more guys going both ways this year than usual. Matt Ramos is playing both sides of the ball. Aiden Parks is playing both sides of the ball. Robert Bustamante is getting healthy, so he'll be playing both sides of the ball. So, yeah, it's high school football, so we're trying to get the best guys out there, and if that means guys got to play a few more snaps, then they're up for the challenge.
Well, Coach, we know one of your playmakers, Julian Sandoval, got hurt earlier this season. What is the timetable on his return? Is he going to be able to make it back this year?
Yeah, I think he'll make it back, hopefully in a couple weeks or so.
Okay, that'd be great to hear, because he's one of the finest playmakers we've seen all, for Hillcrest and for you guys. Love to see him back in action.
Yeah, and he's itching to get back out there. It's driving him crazy being on the sidelines, but he'll be ready in a few weeks, we hope.
Okay, now defensively, you guys are going against this, a very potent offense in Norte Vista. What are you guys going to try to do against this Novi defense, and who are some of the guys that are going to have to step up for you?
Well, we're going to have to play team defense to, try to attempt to stop these guys. Our leaders so far in defense have been James Maldonado playing outside backer. We're obviously going to need a big game out of him again. But really, to have a chance against these guys, they got so many weapons. You really got to play, 11 guys to the football, doing their job, playing selfless. So I think, we got a good plan. We're going to, our kids are going to play hard, and we're going to give it our best shot, and it should be an exciting game.
Well, Coach, going through your entire, the first 5 games, is there one certain player that, you didn't think was going to help you guys and has come out and really, really blossomed, or somebody that's been a really good team leader for you guys?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that we didn't think was going to blossom, but, we've had some kids kind of step up James Maldonado being one of them. Another kid, Aiden Gonzalez, playing inside linebacker right now. And beginning of the year, he was, backup safety. And, with some injuries and just kind of him persevering and fighting for a starting spot, he's gotten in there and he's contributing and playing his butt off.
And before I let you go, last question: what's been the biggest obstacle for you this season? Because there's always something that pops up in the year, but what's been the hardest thing for you guys to overcome, you think?
Yeah, I think this year just, overcoming, trying to get better each week despite, little setbacks. You lose a game, it's emotional. If you lose a 1-point game and, just turning the page to the next week. So I think our kids have done a good job of that. Just understanding that, trusting, the process and that we still got a shot to, be a good football team come league time.
Well, Coach, I won't take up any more of your time. I see you're in practice. You got your cool hat on, your sunglasses, and you are focused and ready to go. But as always, thank you for joining us on the Coach Perspective, and I'll see you on Thursday night when you battle the Braves over at Dalvor Stadium.
All right, Jeff. Hey, I appreciate you.
He is the great Travis Carter of Hillcrest, and we're going to see him Thursday night as they battle the Braves of Norte Vista here on Riverside TV. And welcome back to the Coach's Perspective here on Riverside TV, as we are now joined by the head coach of the Eagles of La Sierra. He is Sean Moore. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good. It's the first time we're going to have you on air. Is this come Friday night? You excited? You kids excited?
They are. We're out here working hard. We had a slow start to the season, kind of started picking up last couple of games, and so now we're going to see what we got.
Well, the record doesn't indicate. You guys are 1-4, but there was a little discrepancy that we have to bring up. Can you? Yes. It was a forfeit against, I believe it was against Rubidoux. Can you shed some light on what happened?
Well, pretty much, on CIF, what I was able to see said our player was cleared. They had some stuff on the back end that I couldn't see. So, and even to this day, it still says the same thing, that he's approved. So unfortunately, that situation where we had to forfeit. But as I tell the players, that game we still won 47-14. So it is what it is. That particular player only accounted for one touchdown. So if you take him out of the equation, it was still 41-14.
Well, I hear you. Thank you for sharing that, because I know a lot of people have been wondering, and it's nice to hear from the head coach himself.
Yeah. We don't want to do any funny business over here. Like I said, checking CIF on Friday and it says approved. I mean, literally, it still says the same thing right now. So we don't want to do any shiesty stuff, nothing like that. We want to play correct. And look, if we would have knew, we won that game regardless. So if we would have knew, he wouldn't have played.
Now, Coach, you guys have putting up some pretty big numbers the last couple of games. What are your thoughts on the first half of the season going into league play?
We started off slow. We play at Royal Valley. They try to beat us up a little bit, and that game ends up being 14-7. But then you turn around and you look at it and you go, okay, well, then after they got to beating us, it's like they took off, and it's 55 and 50 points. I think our defense is pretty good, right? Offense was a little slow. We kind of woke up a little bit, but I'm excited about what we got, and the guys that are officially able to play this week. So it's going to be a fun one, I think.
Now, this is your second year at La Sierra. A lot of new faces on this Eagles team this year. How have you been able to integrate those guys into your system?
You know what? Everybody has to work equally. We got some guys that decided to say they won't go to La Sierra, and that's great. But we're not going to treat them any special. They got to come in and put in the work. So and they have done that, and so I'm really excited to see just Eric May's been one of them. Right now he's they got him on like 25 in the nation at picks. He's got 6 picks over there, top 3 in the state. I said, okay, we got some guys that want to play, and they're fitting in just fine.
Now, Coach, you guys are going to play an Arlington team that's 3-2. They have a couple big wins. They beat Poly at home earlier this year. Everybody wants to beat Poly. But what are your thoughts on this Lions team?
You know what? After checking them out, they rally to the ball really well. Okay, we're gonna have to play fast. Okay, they rally to the ball really well. They're coming out on fire, and we got to be ready.
Now, let's talk about some of your offensive playmakers before we get to the defensive side. Give us some names that we can look for come Friday night.
You know what? Our biggest name is TJ Aviana. I mean, he's our running back, man, and he is, he's got 511 yards on the season. I mean, he is playing pretty good football right now. Only a junior. We got Renee Vatiera. He's a good receiver for us. We call him the Wes Welker. He's almost automatic kind of thing. We got a freshman kid that is growing into himself. We brought him up. He's the only freshman with us, Montreal, and so we got some good talent. I'm really excited to see it. Then we got a lot of our guys. We got a lot of our guys on the defensive ball that are just playing lights out. Elias Ross, he's our middle backer. He's just coming. I mean, he's 6'3", just coming out of steam. So we got Alexis Rouse, defensive end. I'm pretty sure you heard about Parker Pascalacqua. We got some guys on the defensive side of the ball. I think our defense is really good this year, and we're gonna see what we do.
Well, Coach, I have deep-seated roots at La Sierra. My father was a basketball coach. I was the head basketball coach as well. I always root for you guys, and looking forward to seeing you guys for the first time on Riverside TV this year.
You know what? We're excited too. It's homecoming, right? So we got to be ready. I know our QB is super excited too. So we're gonna come out here and we're gonna try to get a win. But like I said, Arlington is doing some good things, so we'll see.
Well, he is the great Sean Moore, and we're going to see him for his opening debut here on Riverside TV Friday night at 7 o'clock versus Arlington High School. We will be there. I'll be there along with my partner, Gonzalez on. Thank you for joining us, Sean Moore, and we'll see you Friday night.
I appreciate you. You all have a great one. Thank you for having me on.
All right, he is the great Sean Moore, and we're going to be right back with the head coach of the Arlington Lions, Kevin Argamosa, here on Riverside TV. All right, we are back here on the Coach's Perspective. We are now joined by the head coach of the Lions of Arlington. He is Kevin Argamosa, part of the All Funny Hat Club. Every coach I have on the show wears that same funny floppy hat. Is that par for the course for coaches?
It is. It went from the old bike shorts and high socks to this hat now.
Well, Coach, great to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm not doing as well as you. I'll tell you what, you're 3-2 going into league. You guys are playing some pretty darn good football at times, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Our boys are really focusing up, and we were very young last year, and it's just been good off season for us in summer and preparing for this situation for this season. So it's been good.
Well, Coach, you have a couple big wins. Let's talk about the biggest one, Riverside Poly. How did that feel?
It felt good. The boys played hard. Riverside Poly gave us a great game. Coach Duran's doing a great job over there. And it was just good to play very well against them. It was good. It was a good win for us.
Well, it's always fun to poke fun at Poly. I love Jerron Gilbert, but anytime you can beat Poly, it's a good thing, especially in the city of Riverside.
Yes.
Well, Coach, I'll tell you, you're going into league. You're going to play against the La Sierra team. What do you know about this Eagle team?
Competitive. They've got some athletes at the receiver position. Their running back's a really good runner, runs hard. I like the way this kid runs the ball. He finds a hole and he hits and he runs hard. It's a really good, solid runner. And they play good football. So we just got to be prepared and focus up on for us and our side of the ball and just be ready for a good game to happen on Friday.
Now, you guys like to play that smash mouth football, but you occasionally will throw the ball. Can you tell us a little bit who's your offensive studs this year?
We have our quarterback, Broderick Burr, our receiver, tight end, AJ Mendoza. We have three receivers actually, Eric Barajas, Makai Thomas, and Reese Contreras, who have done a great job for us at the skilled positions. And then our O-line is just, we're young at certain spots, but we have some veteran guys. Brian Harder's our starting left tackle. He's been a starter for 3 years. And Roman Serratos is our starting right tackle, who's another veteran, 2-year starter for us. So, good stuff there.
Now, here's my question to you, and it's a serious question. Is Mendoza the guy with the full beard and the flowing hair coming out of his helmet?
Yes, sir. One that looks like he's 42. Yes, that's him.
Yeah. Now, I want you to bring a birth certificate on on Friday night, because I'll tell you what, he looks older than I do out there.
Yes. You know, the funny story is my first year, I asked our soccer coach for a kicker, and that's what we got. We got AJ Mendoza came in and to kick for us, and since then he's played regular football for us.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm glad he's not kicking anymore, because you have yourself a pretty darn good kicker yourself. What do I call him? El Luche Legador?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Javier Hernandez is a great kid, soccer player. Another soccer player came out and started kicking the ball, and it's been beautiful for us.
Well, Coach, now your defense has been pretty stellar as always. Who are the big guys up front, and who are those secondary players that we could talk about?
Our secondary guys, we have Nick Roman, another 3-year starter. We have Kevan Tolbert at free safety, and our other corner is Davon Harris. Just solid kids, got a lot of experience last year. All three of our linebackers as well, they got a lot of experience last year being young guys and just being thrown to the wolves as sophomores and juniors because of being a young team.
Now, Coach, you guys get great support through the entire school at Arlington. Your home games are a different brew now. You're not playing on the road. How is it playing for, really the second year now full time at your stadium?
It's great, because a lot of our kids in our community don't drive, so they're able to stay local. There's a couple places to eat in walking distance, so if they leave off campus, they go eat and come right back. Where going to Ramona was difficult for a lot of our students on campus that are not in the football program. So it's been great for us to have the home games and the crowd, and our ASB director, our dance team, our cheer team, our band. They do a great job of really bringing the vibes in on the home side, and the kids love being here, and it's a good thing for high school sports, so they love being here.
Well, Coach, you're like a lot of Riverside schools. You're a neighborhood school, a true neighborhood school. You're not going to get in all the transfers and so forth. What do you do? You guys work a lot in the off season, strength, conditioning. What are you guys doing? Because your guys are getting progressively better every single season.
Well, I'm a big advocate of sending our kids out to other sports to work different muscle groups and just different techniques in different sports. So we send kids to wrestling, baseball, track, volleyball, and we work hard in the off season, the weight room. Our big focus is strength and conditioning and being in the best shape possible, physically and mentally, and that's what we work on in the off season. I tell the kids they go play other sports, but you still need to focus in the weight room. We need to do football lifts, and they get it done. So it's been awesome.
Well, Coach, I know you have a daughter who's an athlete. Now, how do you? I'm a dad as well. I got 3 young boys. How do you juggle being a head coach and being a dad at the same time?
Don't eat dinner till 10 o'clock at night sometimes. So I just go from football practice to soccer practice or to water polo practice for my 2 younger daughters. Luckily, my oldest is away in college right now, so we just got 2 events that my wife have to go to take care of our 2 younger ones, and it's tough. It's tough, but you get it done because it's the love for football and the love for the kids. You can do whatever you can do for your for both groups, for both kids. For both sets. My Arlington football boys and my daughters at home. So we get it done, and my wife does a great job in helping me out. I mean, she's the MVP. So I just, we do everything we can to get it done for them.
Well, Coach, you've been a head coach. I think is this your 3rd or 4th year as a head coach?
3rd year.
3rd year as a head coach. What has been your before I let you go, what's been your favorite moment besides winning the CIF title?
Just our home games, being here at home, honestly, it's great to have that vibe, just go in the locker room and change and to get ready for the game. And as the crowd starts going and, that's just been awesome. It's just been awesome to see that. And then, eventually seeing our kids graduate, and I have a handful of kids out. We have a kid at Grambling State University and a couple of kids out in the SCIAC conferences, and just seeing those young men grow into men. And then it's been awesome.
Well, Coach, before I do let you finally go, I want to say this. There aren't many coaches, high school coaches in the area that everybody universally likes, but you are the one exception. Everybody says high praise of you, and we all love you here at the City of Riverside. And thank you, and continue to do what you are doing for these young men and women as a teacher and a coach and a father.
Thank you so much for having me on here. I appreciate you guys big time.
Well, he is the great Kevin Argamosa, everybody's friend, and we're going to see him Friday night as they're going to battle La Sierra for La Sierra's homecoming at Alvord Stadium. Tune in and check us out Friday night on Riverside TV. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back with more from the coach's perspective here on Riverside TV. And we are back for the conclusion of the coach's perspective here in week number 6, I believe. And we're joined now by our dear friend, Pep Fernandez. How you doing, Pep?
Jeff, of course it's week number 6, man. We're going straight into league play. This is what I live for. I've been waiting for week 6 since August, since we started this thing. But yeah, we're finally into league play, and it's going to get, as I like to say, really juicy this week.
Well, I know we only have a couple minutes with you because you're getting ready to do your show and then you're heading up north. You're not going to be here this Friday night. I should say you're not going to be on set Friday night. So it's going to be bedlam and chaos here for the pep rally Friday night.
I wouldn't expect anything less. I'm sure you'll hold down the fort, but yeah, thanks to technology, I'm going to try to zoom in and participate, from the road. But yeah, and it's week 6 too, so we got some great matchups coming up this week, and I think there's a triple header on Riverside TV.
We're jockeying to get 4 games this week. So Thursday night we're going to have Norte Vista Hillcrest. On Friday we're going to have La Sierra Arlington. And then Saturday, we might have the San Jacinto RCC football game. Who does it better than we do here at Riverside TV?
Man, you guys are going nonstop, but I love it, man. I mean, the people out there obviously appreciate it because of the thousands of views we're getting on Riverside TV. So whether it's high school football, definitely RCC football fans in the community as well. And again, as we get into the month of October, here we are into September, into October, these are meaningful games, Jeff. These are big, important games now.
Well, Pep, I know you have your Inland Sports Juicy Games of the Week, not just in Riverside, but the area. Can you maybe remember some of those juicy games that someone else, if they're not watching Riverside TV, they can go out and check out these other games?
Yeah, and some of them do have Riverside implications in the Big West Conference, right? When you talk about King and some of those teams like Murrieta Mesa, Temecula Valley, whatnot, but also in the Big West Conference upper division, you've got Centennial taking on Chaparral. You've got Murrieta Valley, Norco, Vista Murrieta, Roosevelt, all going head-to-head. So we've got all the games, all those good teams, huge games right out of the gate in the first week of league play.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. And I'll tell you what, Pep, I know you're on the clock here, but Friday night, you're going to be here in some capacity, either as a ghost, a satellite, or somehow we get you in the studio. But now, who are you going to have on the Inland Sports Show this week?
Oh, we're going to have Summit football, Paris football. We've got Ethan Schieffelbein, star pitcher for Corona High School, just came back from Taiwan from Team USA. So we got a lot of good stuff coming up this week on the show.
When will the show air?
Wednesday night, live and amplified at 6:05.
And then the pep rally is when?
Friday night. I will be on Zoom or I will be a ghost. One of the two. I will be there.
Well, he is the great Pep Fernandez, and that will end it for week 6 here on the Coach's Perspective. Make sure you tune in and watch all the games because we really do appreciate everything you do for us in the city of Riverside, and we hope that we can continue to give you the best games possible. For everyone here at Riverside TV, Scott Brocious and the entire award-winning staff, we want to say thank you, and we will see you Thursday night at Riverside TV. Good night, everybody.